All right, what's up, everybody? What's up? It's your man, Ant Walker. I'm here in Anaheim, California at one of the many Hilton hotels for the official UFC 241 weigh-in. So just waiting for everything to kick off. Right now, I see AKA's photographer, forget his name, but he is in the building. I see Pettis' team also, so I anticipate that they will be out to weigh in pretty quickly here. So I will keep you guys updated on what I see that is off the view of the camera. So hope you enjoy yourselves. And let me queue up my my chat here so I can address any questions that you may have. Of course, we know how this goes. We'll probably see a wave of fighters nonstop for the first 20, 30 minutes or so. And then it'll slow down. And then we'll just have oh. All right, so it's official. California State Athletic Commission has said we are a go. All right, and we're going to see who is first up at the scale. So not sure who's up first, but have a feeling the Pettis. You'll see. Oh, I see Daniel Cormier back there. So he probably will be walking out first. Cole Shelton in the chat asking when the weigh-in for the Walker Raymundi flannelweight belt is. We are still negotiating that. Mark is actively ducking me right now. Little commotion back here where you guys cannot see. I would turn the camera there, but there's too much in the way. All right, Shayna Dobson will be first up. She is in the opening bout against Sabine Amazo. So they are prepping everything right now, and she will be on camera in just a minute. Shayna Dobson is up. $124.5 for Shayna Dobson. Corey Sandhagen is up next. Corey Sandhagen. He is fighting Rafael Assunção in the ESPN prelims. $136. Corey Sandhagen. See, Anthony Pettis looks like he will be walking out next. Anthony Pettis walking to the scale right now. Flanked by Biggie Rhodes. 169.5 for Anthony Pettis during the open workouts. And at media day yesterday, he was feeling quite energetic, talking about how easy this cut was, and he was only 2 pounds away at open workouts. So looked like an easy time at the scale for Anthony Pettis. Heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier is up next. Somebody in the crowd saying 275. 236.5 for Daniel Cormier. If I'm not mistaken, that is slender for what he's weighed in the past at heavyweight. Yeah, he was about 245, I believe, for the first fight against Stipe. Yeah, came out heavier than Stipe in his last fight, but Daniel Cormier is slender. All right, so now we've got Conor Worthy, who's going to be fighting Devante Smith. He and Devante Smith seem to have a friendly time with one another at face-offs yesterday, so not exactly a heated build-up. No, this is a short notice one as well. But here he is on the scale, Conor Worthy. $155.5. On weight, ready to go. Looks like Ian Heinisch is next, if I'm not mistaken. I see him off camera, and Jakar close right behind him. So things have been moving along here at the official weigh-in so far, as we typically can expect from these. Ian Heinisch, who I spoke with yesterday at Media Day, pretty excited about having this opportunity. He feels that his UFC career is perfectly on track. He will be fighting Derek Brunson, definitely the highest profile name that he's faced so far in his career. 185.5 for Ian Heinisch. Car close. Looks like he is up next. I see Rafael Sunsal as well, so I anticipate him to be right after Jakar close. Jakar close, looking like a lost member of my family on the scale right now. 155.5. He will be fighting Christos Gallegos. Rafael Sunsal, the perennial bantamweight contender, is making his way to the scale right now. Interesting to see. 136 for Sunsal. That fight is official. He and Sandhagen have weighed in successfully. Should be a very, very interesting fight. That is probably my sleeper pick for fight of the night. Very curious to see how Sunsal rebounds after the loss in the rematch to Marlon Moraes. Kyung Ho Kang is stepping on the scale next. He is fighting Brandon Davis in the Fight Pass prelims. $136 for Kang. Christos Giagos is up next. His opponent, Drakkar Klose, just weighed in. $155 for Giagos. That fight is official. If he wins, it will be 3 in a row for Giagos. Drakkar Klose, of course, has played spoiler several times. He gets another opportunity tomorrow night.
Again, like I said, this is also his first fight in the United States in the UFC. He's fought in Sweden, he's fought in Australia, had back-to-back fights in Brazil, fought in Russia, hasn't fought in the UFC.
This is actually his American debut in the UFC. His last fight in the U.S. was in Irvine, in Orange County, at ACB 51. All right, Sadiq Youssef, Nigerian-born, DMV resident. A good conversation with him yesterday at Media Day. Part of the new wave of African fighters that are making their presence felt in the UFC. 145 for Youssef. He'll be fighting Gabriel Benitez. This is a big step up in experience for him. Benitez has a pretty healthy record. He's stayed very active throughout his career, and this will be the most experienced opponent that Sadiq Youssef has fought by far. Should be interesting. All right, Jodi Esquibel stepping on the scale now. Off camera, she's flanked by Keith Jardine, as you may remember from The Ultimate Fighter. See him in a lot of movies and stuff now, doing stunt work. But had a good conversation with him yesterday at Media Day as well. But Jodi Esquibel is stepping on the scale right now. $116 for Jodi Esquibel. This is she needs this win. She is right now on a 3-fight losing streak. Of course, it's been some pretty good competition that she's lost to, but 4 losses in a row would probably not bode very well for her UFC hopes. So she has a lot on her plate. Derek Brunson up next. His opponent, Ian Heinisch, just weighed in. $186 for Derek Brunson. Of course, he was last seen fighting a man who was the Invicta ring card guy, and that was not exactly the most exciting fight in the world against Elias Theodora, but he's got a chance to get a win streak of 2 if he beats Ian Heinisch tomorrow. Hannah Cyphers stepping on the scale next. $114.5 for Hannah Cyphers. She is going to be the final of the Fight Pass prelims. and she will be fighting Jodi Esquibel, and that fight is official. Paulo Costa on the scale now. 186 for Paulo Costa. Looking pretty fresh right now. So he is on a pretty significant win streak right now. He has a chance to remain undefeated and go 13-0 if he can defeat Yoel Romero, but it's a significant step up in competition for him. Manny Bermudez up next. He is fighting Sadiq Youssef. Manny Bermudez, who is fighting Casey Kenny at a catch weight of 140. From what I understand, this was a decision by the UFC and not the commission. So I'm pretty sure there was some hijinks with weight cuts behind the scenes. 140. Ooh, we almost had a late notice withdrawal if he fell off that scale. So the catch weight is at least halfway certified. So Casey Kenny, his opponent, for that catch weight fight. Let's see what his weight is. $139 for Casey Kenny. This sets up a very, very interesting match between two very respectable prospects. Bermudez undefeated, Casey Kenny 12-1 as of right now. So this should be very interesting. Casey Kenny's only loss was on the Contender Series, a split decision loss to Adam Antolin. A very, very, very exciting matchup right there. Of course, we last saw Kenny fighting Ray Borg and winning that by decision. Gabriel Benitez stepping on the scale. He's got some friends and or family cheering him on behind me. AK representative who is fighting Sadiq Youssef. 146. That fight is official. Sadiq Youssef and Gabriel Benitez will go down tomorrow night. Very, very tough test for Youssef. Being an AKA product, Benitez has a lot of experience with a very, very elite camp. So it should be very interesting to see if Youssef can pass that test. I'm joined by Matt Hunter, photographer, videographer for Sherdog.com, but the founder CEO of Mixed Combat Radio.
You're gonna pass me the mic, or just gonna introduce me? How you guys doing over there on Sherdog in the live chat? We have like 30 plus people watching.
All right, 136. Brandon Davis and Kang is official.
Did anyone think Bohachina was weight drained? Let me know in the chat. He looked a little bit gaunt in the face.
You know what? I don't think he looked that bad, really.
Bad. He didn't look bad, but he definitely was gaunt in the face, more so than yesterday at the media day.
Well, yeah. I'd agree with that. All right, Devante Smith is stepping up right now. His opponent already weighed in. Kamal Worthy. He was one of the first on the scale. 156 for Devante Smith. And let's see. And he is putting in his gold fronts for the photo op. Devante Smith and Kamal Worthy is official.
I love Devante Smith. He is so much fun to be around.
Yeah, he's definitely enjoying every bit of this. All right. Now we are hitting that point in the official weigh-ins that is notorious, where it slows down and
Nothing happens.
nothing is going on, and we're just here left to talk with you people. So let's go ahead and if you got any questions, comments, concerns, any MMA issues you want to discuss, you go ahead and drop that on the chat, and we will be happy to address it. You can also tweet us at Walker MMA and Matt Hunter MCR. So, all right. So let's see here. Who are we missing? Yeah, let's see what Twitter's saying here. I just got a lot of notifications about a bunch of random stuff right now. I don't know what any of this is, so I have no idea what any of this is. All right, well, let's see who's left to weigh in. We haven't seen Sabine Amazo yet. We have not seen Yoel Romero, who I anticipate being last. Nate Diaz and Stipe Miocic. So this is how it typically goes.
How can Romero be last? He looked weight drained last night. He should have been first up.
No, but that means that it's that much more difficult for him. I am almost certain that Yoel Romero is sitting in a sauna right now, miserable out of his mind, despite the fact that he got very agitated yesterday at Media Day when he was questioned by our friend Oscar Willis of MacLife about him making weight.
Yeah, I mean, Romero almost threw a punch. I mean, I might be hyperbolic, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He got a little agitated about the whole weight cut thing.
Oh, yeah.
When he's missed weight multiple times.
Well, according to him, he's never had trouble making weight.
He's never missed weight, according to him.
When you're that large and imposing, whatever you say is true. So
It's true. And plus, we know Romero. Like, he's one of those guys, like, he lives in his own reality. So whatever that means for him, it means for him. Hopefully, he just makes the weight. Hopefully, because he looked bad all fight week. He hasn't looked good at all in terms of his face, in terms of his body, in terms of taking the weight cut. And he's basically completely shut down the idea of 205. So, what does he do here? He can't keep doing this to himself at 40 years old. Mm-hmm. You know, like at some point, 42. At some point, his body's going to give in, and hopefully, it's not anything like this. And this is one of those fights where it might be that passing the torch of the yoke bodies in the middleweight division, where Bochina is the next generation of that, and Romero's just too old. He's cutting too much weight, and Bochina, who's bigger, stronger, but he's younger,
and
so
he's less experienced.
He's less experienced, but
he's not as skilled.
No, definitely not skilled. Definitely not skilled. I mean, in terms of a technical perspective, Romero is the clear favorite, but all the X factors are against Romero here. Even like ones that are usually on his side, like athleticism and explosiveness, like Bochina can potentially match that in a weird way.
Yeah.
So what does Romero do here that can sort of offset those technical flaws, other than not technical flaws, sorry, X factor sort of flaws, so to speak? Is it purely being a better technical fighter? But then we know that Romero takes time off in rounds and sort of
Romero,
checks out.
I wouldn't say he checks out. I think he's conservative with his energy, and he's smarter than what he appears in the fights. Like, he knows the perfect moment to strike, and he's just not a normal guy. His weirdness, his eccentric personality plays into his fight style. All right, so we're going to address a couple of questions we have in the chat from Wyland Customs. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Apologize if I'm not. Does the smaller Cormier at 236 change people's minds? And Stipe looks in better shape this fight.
Well, let's see Stipe.
Yeah, we haven't seen Stipe yet.
We haven't seen Stipe in the weigh-in yet. However, I mean, DC's always sort of been a small guy at heavyweight. Like, he's never been a guy that was like at 250 plus. From where
and Stipe's always been in fantastic shape.
Sure. Both guys aren't gigantic heavyweights.
And keep in mind, Stipe is a firefighter. Like, that's his day job. Like, those guys have to remain in decent shape. Yes. He's literally saving lives on a daily basis. So you got to be able to carry limp bodies out of a burning building and equipment and whatnot. So I want to see what he looks like. Okay, we got T-Card 24. Does this mean Bermudez moves up to 145 as he missed weight last time out as well? It's possible, but he didn't miss weight. This was made to be a catch weight. We just got news of that before the weigh-in started. At least I just received word of it right before the weigh-in started. Maybe the UFC puts pressure on him to fight at 145. And this wasn't a California State Athletic Commission ruling. This was the UFC. So with the commission not involved, yeah, I think it's going to be between him and the UFC what his next weight will be. All right, Thomas Langston asking, why do you think the media made a big deal out of Nate smoking his CBD blunt during the open workout? Well, he was at an open workout smoking a blunt.
Hold on. Can you name any other time in UFC history someone's done that? No. So, of course, people are going to freak out when it's literally the first time that's ever happened.
And keep in mind, too.
It is a push on the USADA and WADA code of cannabinoids, because we've had the whole Elias Theodoros scenario. So
I mean, we had Nate Diaz smoking the vape pen after the Conor fight.
Or the joint in attendance at one of the UFC events. So, but in terms of a public UFC-promoted media event, there's never been a time where somebody's gone up there and smoked a joint. Even though it's a CBD joint, people don't care. You think people really care that it's CBD or not? No, they just think it's a joint.
Yeah, and I'll say this, being right there, it smelled like weed.
It smelled like really good weed.
It smelled fantastic. Not that I ever do that sort of stuff because Sherdog.com does not promote the usage of drugs.
Never.
But weed ain't a drug. It's a gift from the earth. All right. Let's see. All right. Cole Shelton, the Judas of Sherdog. What's up, homie? He asked, why doesn't Romero go to 205? He won't get another shot at Whitaker if he remains champ. He would need another win to get just one win to get a shot at 205. Well, Cole, we asked him about that at the media day.
Go check out the interview.
Yeah, Cole, you should have checked out the work of your colleagues on Sherdog.com.
How dare you not support us, Cole? I'm hurt.
But yeah, so he addressed that. He said that he's too small for 205. Now, I don't necessarily believe that is the case. He did say that he has no interest in fighting John Jones, as they are very good friends and like know one another's families and whatnot. So he's not interested in that fight. And if they're that close, I do understand that. So still something I would love to see, and I think for his health, he should be fighting at 205.
Look, Romero's entire excuse for not going 205 is that he trained with John Jones for one fight camp, and he was in his house a couple nights. Yeah. So, I mean, take that for what it is. I don't think Romero has any intention of going 205, so I've stopped caring about it. Even though I think it's the best thing for him, even though I think it's honestly the best thing for 205 to have Romero sort of influx some sort of, energy in the division. Luke Rockhold was supposed to do that, but then look what happened to Luke Rockhold.
And then we see the last two title challengers were middleweights that moved up. It would. Yoel Romero knows that if he were to get a single win at 205, he is going to be the next title contender. That's going to be pretty obvious. The name value, just the pure matchup just sounds fantastic. But it looks like their friendship is going to keep this just a fantasy matchup in a video game. All right, so commission officials coming back out of the room. Let's see if we have somebody coming up. We've got Stipe, Nate Diaz, and Sabine Amazo are left. Yoel. So, my friend Jose Youngs of MMA Fighting next to me doing his live stream as well. Don't watch that, watch ours, but just watch the replay later of theirs. All right, Nate Diaz is coming up next. $170 for Nate Diaz. Congratulations, you freaks and savages. There will be violence. Nate Diaz and Anthony Pettis will be going down tomorrow night. Oh, happy days, oh, happy days. All right, so now we just have Sabine Amazo, Yoel Romero, and Stipe Miocic next up. So we got a little bit of time. I don't anticipate they'll be coming out soon because there's not much activity we're looking off camera where the fighters are lining up to weigh in. So let's go back to the chat and address a couple of questions here. So Cole also asking, and did you see one championship live stream weigh-ins and hydration tests, and 5 fighters missed weight, yet one didn't do anything? I have not had a chance to watch it. I will say this, that one championship at least trying to stream things, at least trying to open up the doors to transparency is a good step. A step in the right direction. Of course, we have a lot of questions still about their process. Okay, someone looks like Stipe is coming. I see part of his camp and a camera crew back here, so I'm assuming it is Stipe Miocic who is about to weigh in. So while that appears to be going down, yeah, looks so they're guessing that Stipe is going to be about 233. I'm hearing from. Here it is, the former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic. $230.5 for Stipe. Once again, he weighs in under the former light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. So just when we thought we were going to see a more slender version of Daniel Cormier, we're seeing a slender version of Stipe.
Imagine Stipe Miocic just cutting down to 205. I mean, I don't think he could, but he has weighed less than Daniel Cormier.
So my buddy Jose bringing up a good point. I don't know if this was part of his stream or if he was just saying it to me, but I'll share it with you guys. Oh, yeah, he was saying it to both.
Multitasking.
Yeah, so our multitask double live streams. Jose said, hey, what if Stipe actually fought at 205? And I do remember I don't think he could make that, or at least would want to try that, but he is 2 times in a row now weighed less than the former light heavyweight champion. So that says 2 things to me. That says, 1, that Daniel Cormier took a lot out of himself to make 205, and 2, Stipe Miocic ain't trying to cut that weight.
Honestly, how did DC do it? Like, how did DC cut like a natural 30+ pounds of just body weight that he carries around?
He also has a totally different frame, so he's his body is a lot more generous with the fat storage. Yeah. I do remember an early interview in the old UFC magazine way back when Stipe was a prospect that just got signed to the UFC, and he was saying he'd been asked about fighting at 205 before, and he said he walks around at like 240 and he has a 6-pack, so it probably wouldn't be the healthiest thing for him to drop that weight. So, but that's what I find really intriguing about this is. I think this is saying a lot about what Stipe's game plan is. Stipe's game plan is probably going to be based on speed and movement. I anticipate him trying to use his length and trying to point fight this as opposed to bully Daniel Cormier, which I think was the initial game plan in the first fight.
But look, he's the naturally taller, rangier opponent. Why not use that to his advantage? John Jones was able to use it to his advantage at times. And honestly, if you think about the first John Jones DC fight, which was largely fought in the clinch, was a much more grueling affair, right?
Right.
The second one, John Jones fought from distance and completely changed the complexion of the fight. Stipe needs to do that. He needs to use his jab, needs to use a leg kick. He needs to use some kicks, man. He needs to sort of keep DC at bay. And he can't do that. DC's going to be in his face, and he's the better boxer in short range.
Yes. All right. Sabine Amazo, who will be opening the card with Shayna Dobson if she makes weight. So let's see what happens next. Looks like the commission officials are estimating 126 for her weight. Let's see. $126 for Sabine Amazo. The curtain jerker is official. So now we only have Yoel Romero, who I'm sure we are all eagerly anticipating the drama of a Yoel Romero weigh-in.
Is that all we have left?
Yes, that is all we have left.
Let's answer some more questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to answer the Cole's question about one.
Okay.
Look, we got into a debate, or I should say I got into a little debate with an MMA manager yesterday.
I kind of jumped in a little bit. I think it started off with one of my tweets.
It started off with you, but I definitely jumped in a lot more, I would say. And, it's just interesting that I think that now that they've done this one live stream, that we should now all of a sudden anoint them as, like, I don't know, some transparent corporation. They aren't. They aren't still. They still have massive issues with their overall policy, the transparency of that said policy. And until we get transparency, until we get what we are asking for, honestly, as a media group, we're not going to be satisfied. So the criticism's still going to be there, and it's still going to stay. And honestly, I think it's going to keep one regulated to a regional promotion as long as they do this. Like, until they are a transparent corporation to a U.S. media, period, they can't really jump into the U.S. market. It's just impossible.
I mean, they can do what they want in Asia without commission oversight, and that's fine. But yeah, you're not breaking in the U.S. market without going through the commissions.
And not even just like bringing events. I'm talking about just like really breaking into the market from a TV or internet like viewing perspective. You can't do that if you are a non-transparent corporation. We don't trust you.
So check out the irony in this. That manager who had the exchange with was like, oh, well, this is solved the issue and the fighters are happier and blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. The only issue that we have is that we can't verify that. Yeah,
because on paper the policy is fine.
Yeah, on paper it's fantastic, but we don't know if it really works because there's no third party oversight. We are at an official weigh-in right now. There are at least a dozen different media outlets represented in this room, sitting all around us. There is an independent commission here as well. There's so much documentation of what's going on.
And just to add that independent commission is a government
body.
Yeah. Like, it's one that's appointed by elected officials from the state. So like automatically it has far more, I don't know, public oversight, so to speak, over the well-being of the fighters than one does.
Until there is a system that welcomes this sort of oversight from multiple independent sources, I'm sorry, I'm not satisfied. But let's be fair. If we criticize them for the bad things they do, let's commend them for at least trying to step in the right direction.
Well, no, always credit them for trying.
All right, Yoel Romero has an hour and 23 minutes to weigh in. So
an hour and 20 minutes. Me and Ant talking.
Yep. So let's get comfortable. Let's get to know each other.
No, let's get a little closer. Yeah. To stay on the subject of needing a commission oversight, needing that third party, in a sense, government oversight is what I always recommend. Look at what happened even with the UFC, the gold standard of MMA promotion, what they did to John Jones and Vitor Belfort with that case. That turned out years later, we found out. It took us years later to find out from the UFC. And like you said, Ant, there was dozens of media here, probably for that event, obviously for the weigh-ins there. But we didn't find out about that information until years later. Why? Because there was no government oversight. It was the UFC jumping in and being their own commission. If the UFC is at fault, and they're the gold standard, the biggest corporation in the world, the biggest company, the most resources, right? And they still fuck up when they're their own commission. Of course, one's going to do it when that's the norm for them.
Yeah.
That's their sort of company policy is to just run their own thing, and because of that, you're going to naturally get.
And there's no force to stop them. There's no force to oppose them.
Get conflicts of interest. You're going to naturally get corruption. You're going to naturally get those things because there is no oversight. Yeah.
So definitely want to let everyone know for the panel discussion show Off the Chain this Monday, Michael Fidel will be guesting the Body Lock MMA journalist who has uncovered a lot of stuff with one. He's done a lot of great work. And so we've had a lot of private conversations about some of this stuff, and I'm very excited to talk with him on air about a lot of things. So check that out.
His piece on one and their PD policy with WADA, check it out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll discuss all of that, and perfect timing that they live stream their weigh-ins just ahead of this, so we'll have a lot to talk with him about. So check that out. Tuesday should be premiering at noon West Coast time on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so let's address a couple more comments we've got here in the chat. TCAR24, out of the prospects on the card, who do you see having a breakthrough performance? I got to go Sadiq Youssef. If he can get past Gabriel Benitez, which I think is going to be a very tough test for him, but if he gets through that, sky's the limit for him. He's saying...
Are we including Ian Heinich as a prospect?
Yeah, we should.
He could have one. He could have one. But the thing with Ian Heinich is that he doesn't have like the star personality, let's say, like Devante Smith or Sadiq Youssef have. Like he's not like we interviewed him. Like let's be honest,
he doesn't have the charisma that those guys have. Yeah.
But he's in the biggest fight to, in a sense, throw him into the top 10. Right?
He's got
Brunson.
he's got the biggest name
Yes.
attached to him. That if he gets through that, especially if it's in some dramatic fashion, and let's be honest here, Derek Brunson opens himself up to being finished in some dramatic ways at times. And Heinich did tell us his intent was to get him emotional. He wants to get him riled up, and we've seen what Derek Brunson riled up and emotional looks like. So if Heinich is able to jar him in that sense.
And we have to admit at some point that Derek Brunson is slightly overrated from a technical aspect because his striking is so atrocious.
His striking is not.
And even though Ian Heinich isn't a world level kickboxer, like I think Ian Heinich could potentially outbox him. Like that's the funny part.
I definitely see that. But Brunson does have a lot of power, so he does land. Bad things can happen to you. Yeah, very good wrestler. Like, and when you're that good of a wrestler, you don't necessarily have to have the textbook wonderful striking. You just gotta have enough to make someone respect it and think twice when they try to take you down. So it should be an interesting fight there. But I still say Sadiq Youssef is the guy with the most breakout potential on this card, and with a more exciting style as well. So that should be a factor.
Like I'm obviously a Devante Smith mark. I think that I've made that pretty clear at this point. He's one of those guys, like, he could be something if he just keeps winning. If he keeps getting fun wins. And he could just be one of those guys like a lighter weight Mike Perry in a sense, like he's just fun. Yeah. And there's a career path for those type of people in the UFC. But you're right, Sadiq Youssef is one of those guys that he does sort of have the it factor around him, especially with just his talent overall.
Okay, all right, so we're getting asked, apparently, I haven't seen this, but if you've seen this, please let me know, Matt. Now that we have a break in the way, and any comments on Aldo wanting a shot at the 135 title?
Well,
what? Oh, yeah, 6 minutes ago, looks like Megan O'Leary tweeted out that Yoel Romero is on the treadmill, still cutting weight, so...
we're going to be here for a while.
Get comfortable, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about.
But back to the question. I'll look that up while I talk. But if Aldo wants to do that, look, I don't want him to do that.
No, hell no. He has so much trouble making 145.
Yeah, no.
Like
that
no,
makes
just
sense.
no. And he's getting older. He needs to fight at 155.
Now,
just knock this off.
I could see Cejudo calling out Aldo.
Yes.
But not the other
Hasn't
way
he
around.
already called out Aldo?
Probably.
He's.
Who knows?
He called out Hannah Cyphers for all we know. Like this. It's like Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Why is this a thing? But let's not even feed any more energy into this. Yeah, like no. Aldo at 135, no. Hard pass.
I've been a big proponent of Aldo going out to 155 and extending his career for a little bit longer, having some fun fights up there. But he seems like he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one right here. Are you scared that Yoel and Costa could end up like Francis versus Derek?
Don't you dare put that into the fucking universe, okay? I will find you.
Don't put that on us, Ricky Bobby.
Don't you dare put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby.
Don't do that, man. But it is a possibility, man. Now that I think about it, because we were just talking about Yoel kind of taking time off from rounds and just waiting for things to happen. I can envision a scenario where Costa comes out like a bat out of hell and gets tired in about 45 seconds, and Romero just looking at him. That is a strong possibility. Now, I hope that's not the case. I certainly hope that's not the case, but Jesus Christ, man, if it is. I
don't see it.
You just want to see me press row crying.
No, of course, Romero is the type of guy where you could see him producing bad fights. He's done in the past. However, I don't think the matchup with Bohatina leads to that. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I
the way those two fight, it should be like a Roadrunner, Tasmanian Devil
they're
sort
gonna
of
clash too much
tornado
together.
of
There's gonna be too much
violence.
conflict with their styles that I don't see it being a bad fight. I can see it having boring stretches, perhaps. Like maybe the second round would be pretty bad, but I think the finish, because there is going to be a finish in this fight, is going to be insane. I think the first round's going to be insane. So maybe the second round's bad. I can take that.
Yeah,
If we get a really
acceptable.
crazy first round, kind of bad second round, but a great third round stoppage.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And I think that's kind of what's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Or it ends in the first round.
Or we have.
Bochina comes out with a huge combination, and Romero does a flying knee. And knocks him
That's
out,
exactly like Costa. Costa settles into a pace, pieces up Romero, totally dominates him, and then 10 seconds before the fight's over with, Romero lands some spinning wheel kick. Oh yeah, so yeah, Aldo willing to fight Henry Cejudo at bantamweight. Jesus
Guillermo
Christ.
Cruz, so I mean it's Guillermo Cruz.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, like no, thank you. All right, we're no. Just no. Just knock that off. All right, so let's go back to the chat here. We got a couple people still asking about Yoel and Paulo, whether he made it. No, he is not. He is the lone holdout from the weigh-ins. No shock there. The California Commission just informed us that, yes, there's only one fighter remaining, and he's got until 11 o'clock our time to weigh in. So that means he's got an hour and 15 minutes to go. Oh, man, so...
let's talk about Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano being cut by the UFC. I was kind of shocked by that. The media was talking about it like amongst ourselves. I think it was on the open workouts. And most of us were surprised. Some of us weren't. But I will say this. I am surprised. I think Kat Zingano was a name, even though she may not be a consistent name that's in a lot of fights all the time. However, she's a top quality name. She's somebody that, fought Ronda Rousey, got that rub. I think that was a bad move on the UFC's part. Like I said to, I think you guys, that I am shocked Megan Anderson has a fight scheduled and Kat Zingano's cut. That makes no sense to me.
That's pretty
Like,
wild.
if I had to predict the UFC's moves for the women's divisions, it would have been the opposite. Once Cyborg is presumably going to obviously go to Bellator or PFL, I thought 145 is going to get cut. Megan Anderson's going to get cut. Everyone's going to get cut up there. But no, they cut Kat Zingano, who's a perennial top 10 bantamweight, who has has a win over Amanda Nunes. So it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Strange, but I mean, we've seen the UFC make some rather odd personnel decisions. But here's the thing that's kind of crazy. A lot of times, though, they're right in hindsight.
I disagree on that.
There are a couple times. I mean, there are exceptions, but they tend to, if they think a fighter is done, they normally get that right, at least done on a certain level.
Demetrius Johnson, Ryan Bader.
Like I said, there are times when they get it wrong. Roy McDonald, I think, is
They were right on that, probably.
Yeah, they were probably right on that. Yeah, so
Eddie Alvarez, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So yes, we can confirm that we've heard the same thing. Yoel Romero is, at least about 8 to 10 minutes ago, was on the treadmill in the hotel, still cutting weight.
He's not coming here right now.
Yeah, he won't be here for a little bit. So go ahead and brew another cup of coffee. Come get this work. All right. Let's see what else we got. Does Cejudo's personality decrease how much we think of him as a fighter?
No, not at all. Not at all. And if anything, let's be honest, Cejudo, he's like the cringe champion, right? Like that's kind of like his sort of
his brand now,
right?
Yeah.
But it's far different than, say, like Colby Covington's, where like most of us within, I think, the media don't like Colby Covington's personality right now, or his gimmick, right? Like it's
his persona.
It's his persona. It's annoying. Cejudo is more like Cejudo, right? It's more like your little brother, like kind of being a dork, so like you kind of just like, oh, whatever. It's different.
It's annoying, but it's so goofy that I can't take it seriously.
Honestly, like it's not annoying to me. It's just like it's not. I don't take it serious. It's not anything to me. It's Cejudo just being a goofy person, and that to me is drastically different than, like, let's say, a aggravating or annoying persona, which we've seen.
Or the
Colby
sort
Covington's
of
a
persona
perfect example.
to punch old men at a bar. Like, he's not doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, although I do have a problem with the open invitation to be violent against women. I don't like that. I don't like the optics of that, but that's a whole nother story. Let's see.
Somebody asking, dude, we watched the Covington on the Food Truck Diaries, Brendan Schaub. No, I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, I've heard some good things, so
That's good.
yeah, you should check it out. I mean, Covington definitely will break character quite a lot. No, he's done that on Submission Radio a few times. The Submission Radio guys came in town for this too, so shout out to them. Good friends of ours. But yeah, man. So he's broken character. He doesn't stay in it the way like a Chael Sonnen has, or at least broken it the same way a Chael Sonnen has. Like, it's not that finesse to
see,
it.
let's be honest. Chael Sonnen blends the persona and his own personality far better.
Yeah, he
like,
does.
You know, the off switch is not as noticeable.
Well, the thing is,
that's why his worked better.
I think with Chael, the off switch is more noticeable, but his natural personality is so charming that we accept it.
I will say this: his natural personality is, I would say, his persona is a reflection of his natural personality. I don't know if Kobe's is.
Well,
it's so extreme, so over the top, so obviously put on.
Yeah.
It's very different than Chael's.
But you know what? I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between them, except that Chael is like,
maybe not in terms of content,
like a more charming dude. Like, I've talked to Chael Sonnen a couple times, man.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, his personality is charming, so like therefore his persona is more charming. It's a reflection of that.
I can see
Covington
that. But when he
is
turns,
not a charming person.
but when he turns that off switch, he turns the switch off, and it's like, oh, he's a pretty cool guy still. And then on top of that, he's actually funny. Covington is not funny. There are very few funny things he's actually said.
Again, I think Covington is just contrived. His gimmick is contrived completely.
All right, let's see. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Imagine DC beats Stipe and retires as the champion. Who will be the next title fight? Ngannou versus who?
He just beat JDS. So who else is in there?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I think John Jones starts getting interested in heavyweight if that happens.
well, let's be honest. If DC wasn't heavyweight, would John Jones have the stance of I'm never going to heavyweight?
I think that's what I think.
I don't think he would.
I think Jones would, because he dislikes Cormier so much, because he's already beaten him twice.
That's why
he will wait till Cormier retires to move up to heavyweight.
Absolutely.
Just to spite him.
I mean, wait, John Jones being petty?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. I mean, he is definitely one of the contenders for pettyweight champion of the world. Scott Coker still holds that title.
I mean, Scott Coker kind of lost it lately.
Scott Coker is the pettiest man on Twitter.
Here's the thing.
And it's fantastic.
Throwing out a loosey tweet every once in a while, that's petty, doesn't count for pettyweight champion. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're the Nate Diaz of pettyweights.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying right there?
I get what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're doing there. I see you, my guy. But man, I don't know who would be next.
I don't know. Francis Ngannou will obviously be in the vacant title
But
fight.
you know what?
But who would he be against?
I've got two words for you.
Stipe again?
Grand Prix.
The UFC doesn't do that.
They better start. They better start thinking about it. If that's the case, if that heavyweight belt is retired with DC, you might as well do a Grand Prix. Get some interest in a division. But otherwise, kind of sucks.
Is there any? I mean, like, there's no one on the outskirts that they could be throwing there.
Yeah, because I think of. So Kane is pro wrestling right now. Derek Lewis and who's he fighting? Derek Lewis is fighting. Jesus Christ!
Dude, I'm not gonna help you.
I'm drawing a blank here.
I can't remember the numbers now.
Yeah, but yeah. So what's your man's name that Lewis? Not Lewis. That Ngannou beat twice, knocked him out. Curtis Blades is So he's kind of out of that. Like,
yeah, you can't do it.
So you gotta do.
Hold on, Cole Shelton.
Oh, okay.
The greatest. Ngannou versus Lewis 2. Let's run it back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Look, that might be the best option we have, unfortunately.
That's kind of what I
part.
was leaning to. If Lewis beats
Submission Radio guys, walk in front of the camera.
Oh, Casper
No
of Submission Radio, rudely interrupting our shot of an empty scale. How dare
All
he?
that whey protein he just
Yes,
you know.
dude. So I've been, of course, hanging out with Casper, Submission Radio all
thanks
week.
for the invite, man.
Yeah. You're welcome to be invited.
Are we going to drink it
Oh, yes, of course we are.
Yeah, okay.
Black or even off. It's Black or even off that Derek Lewis is he's fighting. Blago Ivanov is a guy that
No.
can generate some interest.
Can we all just admit here, guys, that Blago Ivanov should not be anywhere near a UFC title fight?
It's that thin, dude. It's that thin. Grand Prix.
Okay.
That's the only way to go.
Here's my suggestion. We close the heavyweight division.
What?
Close women's featherweight, close men's flyweight, just clean up
So we have 4 divisions?
Oh my God, we have like, how many divisions do we have right now?
It's
we have
called
like 17.
Did you just actually seriously suggest closing the heavyweight division? Are you fucking kidding me?
Let's be all honest here. On average, heavyweight fights are the worst. Let's just cut the division, guys. Cut our losses.
But still, there's nothing like a heavyweight fight. Even a bad heavyweight fight is still some sort of spectacle to watch.
No,
that's the one that's going to generate interest, man. That's the division that everybody.
When's the last time the heavyweight UFC champion was the biggest star in the UFC? Randy Couture, back in what, 2002?
Tim Sylvia was a mega star.
Tim Sylvia was a national fucking treasure. Take that back. No, I mean, let's be honest here. Like, the heavyweight division hasn't been the golden division forever.
But the heavyweight,
the division since Pride.
The heavyweight division always draws some sort of casual interest, even if the fighters themselves aren't that interesting, because it's these big guys fighting each other.
Well, let's be honest. The DC Stipe first fight only did like 400,000 view buys.
No, yeah, I'm talking.
That was supposed to be this big street fight. It didn't even do that.
It has a level of curiosity to it. And that's something that only heavyweight can produce. The curiosity of big guys hitting each other. Even if the fights suck, even if the names aren't all that, it's still a spectacle to watch. You know, I know you've sat cage side or ring side for plenty of heavyweight fights, as have I. And it's something different about heavyweights hitting each other because it's a marvel to watch.
I will say this. Top level, high level athletes in the heavyweight division going at it is amazing. However, like you've said, on average, is that what we get? No. On average, is that in the top 10 of the UFC heavyweight division? No. I'm not saying actually close it. You know me. I'm in jest. However, they do need a heavy reset on this division.
Well, they
need to go and get a ton of new prospects. They need to go send all their scouts to Eastern Europe, Russia, where all the PDs are being used, and find some guys that aren't Blago or Ivanov.
Or they just don't give USADA the addresses to any of the heavyweights or something.
If UFC just got rid of USADA, everyone.
So Cole reminded me of something I was just about to bring up too. Walt Harris and Alistair Overeem is the main event in DC, December 7th, Capital One Arena. There are names that just might be of interest if you put them in a Grand Prix. Shutting down the division as opposed to having an unofficial tournament.
I'll be honest. The best case scenario is that Alex Overeem wins that fight, and you do Francis Ngannou versus Overeem 2 for the heavyweight title. Yeah, that's the best case scenario. Those are your biggest names in the heavyweight division.
Well, here, how about this? How about having like they did? I forget what the number of this card was when they had the all heavyweight main card.
It was like 165.
Do something like that. So there are things you can do, and you can have that as an unofficial tournament. Do something like that, and maybe you can generate some interest. Like, look at what Bellator is doing right now. Fighters that otherwise we wouldn't pay a lot of attention to, you put them in a Grand Prix format. That's because you're a hater.
We're still not paying attention. Let's be honest.
But we talk about that a lot more than we had if they were just standalone fights.
Sure, I guess in theory. But then again, you can I would argue the heavyweight Grand Prix for Bellator was largely only successful in terms of viewership because of Fedor.
Yeah, I mean that's the Bellator formula.
Yeah, and the welterweight Grand Prix has been. I don't know if it's been successful. You can say obviously we've had good fights, we've had good outcomes, but Bellator can't be happy with those outcomes.
No, but
Rory McDonald has looked worse and worse. Michael Van Page had a huge loss. Everything's not working out.
But those
Grand Prix are usually things that promoters don't like doing because of those reasons.
But you know how would we have cared about a Rory McDonald versus John Fitch fight at any other point unless it was in this tournament format?
I would still argue we didn't care about it. I mean, honestly, did we care about Rory McDonald versus John Fitch at all? In 2019, 2018?
I cared about it in the form in the Grand Prix format. I cared about it in that sense because the title was on the line.
I'll put it this way,
and there were clear stakes of what was next.
Stamping a Grand Prix name on just fights in a tournament bracket with names that aren't the top level is like throwing an interim title just attached to fights to sell a pay-per-view. It's not obviously the same thing, but it's on the same continuum of promotional framing. That's not needed. No.
You're setting clear stakes that means you're setting clear stakes that mean something. When you have a grant where it's like, okay, you are working toward X, Y, and Z. so do it. That makes a lot more sense than these standalone fights with names that we otherwise wouldn't be paying a lot of attention to.
And I would still argue that the Grand Prix structure only works with names that you care about. And fundamentally speaking, I would say that the names in the Bellator Grand Prix are names that people largely don't care about in 2019. The casual fan base largely doesn't care about. You have names like Fedor, of course, in the heavyweight that people care about. Yeah. Ryan Bader on a peripheral sense, but not really anymore.
The true test of this,
went to Bellator.
The true test of this is going to be the featherweight Grand Prix, which is starting up, I think, in a couple of weeks or so.
Because that is the lowest caliber in terms of name value, in terms of star power and everything. It doesn't have the Rory McDonald, doesn't have the Fedor.
But it's still got some names that can generate some interest, but they're not over the top stars. They're not people who have had a lot of attention outside of Bellator. So, all right, let's address this chat before I continue roasting you in this debate.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm still winning.
Trash. All right.
I still think closing the heavyweight division is the best thing we could do.
Kevin Bonner saying a healthy Kane beats any heavyweight. He might, but is he ever healthy? He's
like,
pro wrestling now.
Unicorns fly to the moon. We can just make up stuff.
Yeah.
Kane's not healthy.
I mean,
He's done.
I'm telling you, me in my prime, monster. But that's only in theory. You never seen it before.
You should see me play football back in high school, bro. I was a mean machine, man.
Yeah.
No, Kane's done, bro. It's fine.
All right, so let's see.
Let Kane do pro wrestling and be happy.
Yeah.
He honestly looks happy doing that. Let him do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're still waiting for Yoel Romero. He's got an hour
ask us questions,
to hit this
guys.
scale.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Boxing, too, because I'm a boxing guy.
Well, yeah, you can answer the boxing questions. I prefer you keep the limited form of combat off of this chat. But no, I like boxing, too. Let me stop. I just want to piss you off.
I mean, the limited form of combat. How much have you promoted bare-knuckle boxing?
I haven't promoted them. I talk about them. I watch it.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah. They filming don't write me no checks, homie.
Oh, we can talk about that now. Bigfoot Silva, corner bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And obviously fighting Alexander Emelianenko.
Yeah. So Bigfoot Silva soon to contract hepatitis. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good right now.
Actually,
I'm still using my
name. I'm good. Thank you.
Somebody asking us for coffee.
Fantastic service here at the Hilton in Anaheim.
Can we just say this? And I'll always say it whenever I have a chance. Doing UFC media events is so much better than boxing media events.
Oh my God, it's a world of difference. It is a world of difference.
We get drinks and food here. It's nice.
All right, so Eric Stevens saying, appreciate you guys streaming this.
Oh, don't worry,
Thank you, Eric. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you jumped on the stream for 239.
I wouldn't know.
Appreciate you coming back, homie. All right, so yes, we are still waiting on Yoel Romero. I wonder if he's still on that treadmill. Probably.
Yo, that's worrying. Do you think he misses weight?
It wouldn't shock me at all. But, of course, I would never say that to his face considering how angry he got at Oscar yesterday at the scrum.
I have never seen a guy smile and be so terrifying in my life.
Yeah, that is a scary dude, man.
He's one of those guys that would smile while he's stabbing you in a serial killer mentality. And that's cool. Yeah. You need that for a fight.
Oh, yeah, so also speaking of Yoel, there was a funny story that apparently he told Oscar. Jorge Masvidal told the story to Oscar about some bar fight that him and Yoel were involved in.
Allegedly, Romero and Masvidal didn't want to pay for drinks, so they fought their way out of the bar.
Yeah, so Oscar and Submission Radio, they got an interview with Masvidal after everything yesterday. I was accompanying them. Go ahead and check those out on the Mac Life and Submission Radio channels. Some good stuff there. But anyway, let's see what else we got here. I think the homie Jay Petrie of Sherdog, he wanted to drop in with some sort of information. I just saw that. He says Alexander Emelianenko for the BK hepatitis weight title. So
first off, Jay, I've heard that joke at least 7 times this week.
But it's funnier with Jay. Jay is a saint.
Jay needs his own podcast. I'm just going to say that right now. Jay, you need your own show, man.
I would highly recommend you guys check out The Trenches. The last episode, Matt and I were at the open workouts for UFC 241, so I was not able to make that. Jay stepped in my place, killed it. Very good work, man. So definitely check that episode out. I enjoyed the bit that I could watch.
You and Jason.
Absolute trash. Matt Hunter is trash. Don't listen to
Check out Mixed Combat Radio.
Actually, yes,
YouTube,
yes. Please check out Mixed
podcasts
Combat
everywhere.
Radio. Yeah, especially for good boxing talk. I know Sherdog doesn't do a whole lot of boxing coverage. I'm trying to change that with the homie Matt Hunter being a part of that phrase. So we are trying to get some new podcasts going for Sherdog.
Some new shows, YouTube shows.
I'm beating the table for Matt Hunter to host a boxing show. So expect a lot more Matt Hunter on your Sherdog feed. So
Should be fun.
Yep. All right, let's see what else we got here. Wyland Cups is saying this stream is a lot more seamless and better commentary. Well, thank you, sir.
I hope obviously the internet's not great, so I hope that the stream itself is like watchable. And if it's not watchable, I hope it's listenable. I hope you guys can at least listen to us talk and enjoy the commentary.
Yeah, man. So we're still waiting for Yoel.
And we still have an hour, guys.
Yeah, we still have an hour.
An hour.
Well, I'm gonna re-up my coffee.
I'll sit here and just chat to the people.
Yeah, Matt's gonna chat with the people.
Remember, Sherdog.com, everywhere, all platforms. Anthony Walker, Ant Walker, MMA, all platforms. I am Matthew Hunter, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Follow me at Mixed Combat Radio as well. We're waiting on Yoel Romero. Obviously, we have an hour left. Last we heard, he was still on the treadmill, running, trying to cut weight. It seems like we're going to be here for a while, just waiting. But everyone else seemed to be making weight quite well. I think Manny Bermudez had a catch weight that some people perceived to be him missing weight, but that was a catch weight fight. But yeah, everyone seemed to be making weight quite well. Maybe the only person that seemed to be cutting weight, maybe to an egregious amount, was Boachina, but that's not a surprise. But yeah, let us know in the chat what you guys think, and also questions. Let us know any sort of other questions in the MMA world you guys want us to answer, any sort of topics you want us to discuss. It could be anything, because we have time to kill right here, and there's not a lot going on. Let me see in the chat what you guys have. Sam Rogue, I heard he doesn't even cut that much weight, but he doesn't ever walk around heavy off-season like others. Yeah, but, I mean, he definitely cuts weight. If you look at him, it's a face of somebody cutting a lot of weight. So, he said he walks around about 203, 205 yesterday at the media day. So, he's cutting at least 20-something pounds. Unemployed Mario Yamasaki saying, what's up, Matt? What's up, Yamasaki, man? How you doing? Wyland saying, comment on Diaz and Pettis, layoff versus being active. Well, I mean, obviously, I think that while being a factor, it is a factor. I don't think it's a major one. I think the style matchup, Pettis' overall technical acumen is probably just a huge factor in that fight. Ant's back with us. We're talking about Diaz-Pettis, just long layoff versus activity, sort of our thoughts on the fight.
I think that if this is Nate Diaz as we remember him, I think he should beat Pettis. Pressure boxing and just moving forward,
I don't know.
It should defeat Pettis, because that's been the formula before.
Yes, however, it's funny because, like, in theory, like, all you really need for Pettis is to pressure him and cut off the cage, and his game kind of falls apart in a lot of ways. However, Diaz, I would say, is not the best at cutting off the cage. He's good at just pressuring you with volume, but not really good at footwork and cutting off the cage. Secondly, we do know that Diaz is completely susceptible to kicks everywhere. And the last time we've seen him get hurt was, honestly, by a kick. It was Josh Thompson.
Right, very true.
So if Josh Thompson can land a fucking head kick, I mean, let's be honest, Anthony Pettis could land something and probably should land something. So I think Diaz is 100% going to get hurt in this fight. I think it's about, can he recover? Can he bounce back from that? Can he not get submitted? Submission radio, guys. They're awesome.
The homie Dennis saying what's up.
If he can survive from getting hurt, because he will be hurt, then he might be able to win. But that's a big if. I don't know. I think Pettis is the deserving favorite here, and not due to the layoff. I think it's just due to the style matchup, the technical disparity between them. Honestly, that's it.
See, I think the style favors Nate because, like, if Pettis catches you trying to stay at length, he's I'm a flame cold in just a second here. If Pettis catches you at length, if you try to maintain distance against him, you get murked, and he's very consistent with that because that distance fight plays to his advantage. Nate, though, can keep you at distance while throwing consistent volume, and he has a hell of a chin. I'm thinking the layoff might become more the factor here, but style-wise, I'm leaning toward Nate Diaz. Cole Shelton, continuing the Judas run, says, don't take what Ancestor picks. Guy is trash, and Sherdog staff pick him.
That's fact.
First off,
that's fact,
no, I'm not that bad. I'm like 60% right now. But first off,
where are you on like everyone? Like, who's leading the pack?
It's Tristan. I think Tristan might be leading the pack.
Which isn't
Cole was leading the pack. Fortunately, he is not.
Because he's trash.
Yes. Cole is trash, but he's more trash as a person as opposed to a fight picker. And I don't like the fact that he's co-opting my trash catchphrase. So, Cole Shelton, you are official trash.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah. Unemployed Mario Yamasaki in the chat. What's up, homie? Says, what's the deadline for weight cuts? Saying, Ant, I don't care for plaid on you.
I gotta admit, Pat, I agree with the man. Like, you can do better than plaid, homie.
Well, for the record, this shirt was balled up on my floor, and I just threw it on.
I just want everyone to know that I've only seen Anthony wear plaid flannels. And I've been with him a lot of times for media events, and he only wears plaid flannels.
And comic book shirts.
No, you don't even wear comic book shirts.
Well, no,
that's
when
if you're
just in general, yeah.
Or if it's fight night, he will wear like the actual suit.
Yeah,
but that doesn't count.
I think I'm doing slacks and a vest for this fight night because it's going to be too hot.
You should do like the millennial thing because you kind of look young enough to be a millennial.
Oh wow! With the low key dig
though. You
can
do the comic book shirt with the jacket coat. That's what you should do with like jeans and like some tennis shoes.
Maybe I'll do that for Bellator media stuff. Just to experiment, you know.
I'm just saying you could pull that off.
Yeah, I do have a Batman T-shirt in my backpack, so perhaps gotta have a. What did you just say?
I'm just kidding. Robert Patterson's probably gonna blow it away. Let's be honest.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he probably is.
He probably will.
He probably is. All right, so we got a host of questions here.
Did you hear? Hey,
yeah.
There's no fights. I'm gonna talk about movies for a second. Did you hear the Joker? Was that Venice or Cannes? And they got like rave reviews, and people are
really?
saying,
at the Cannes Festival.
People are saying like Oscar. I am so pumped for this Joker movie.
Oh,
I cannot wait.
Hails to the yes. So, so actually check out. Matt has a pop culture channel called Trending Now.
Trending Now Network.
Yeah, so we'll be on there talking comic books and music and whatnot.
Yes.
Let's
go check out one of our shows we did. I think it was last week on the top 20 rappers, MCs of all time. Yeah. My list was clearly better than Anthony's.
Your list. I'll say this.
I'll put it this way: his left Big E off. End of story.
But I explained it, and it was the same reason why I left Mos Def off. It was the same reason why I left Lauryn Hill off.
It was a bad explanation.
No, it was a perfectly reasonable explanation.
It was a really bad explanation.
And then I think we need to redo that, but we need to clearly define the criteria and then approach it like that. So, anyway, Joe Budden's the top 20 MC. Now let's.
Top 10.
No, it's at top 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Royce 5'9" is the top 10. Top 5 in my book. But anyway. Let's see, where else?
Who wins, Romero, Costa? I'm picking Costa.
I'm picking Romero.
Yo, we're like picking opposite picks on like all the big fights here.
Well, it's good that we disagree on stuff.
It breeds a good relationship,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, right. A lot of tension in the air.
I'm always right,
motherfucker.
I want everyone to know that I am always right.
All right, let's see what else we got. Regardless of the outcome versus Wonderboy, were you guys impressed by Pettis versus a true 170er? Took a lot of damage and didn't look good in my opinion. That can't always. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
In a sense, I definitely agree with a large part of that. Another question I like from TCAR, T-Car. I think MMA will eventually become more and more like boxing, in my opinion, having an extensive amateur career become a thing in MMA. I don't see that ever happening. Why? Because there's no actual end goal of amateur MMA. There's an end goal to amateur boxing. It's an Olympic medal. And for most countries around the world, you can actually make a living being an amateur fighter. Most of Eastern Europe, most of like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, that sort of countries, you can make a living being an amateur fighter winning Olympic medals. That does not exist in amateur MMA at all.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like amateur MMA, it's just very, very slimly removed from professional MMA.
It is.
You'll see
There's no
the
difference
cards will be blended. The promoters still make a bunch of money.
I went way back in the day.
Fighters sell tickets.
I went to an amateur show put on by Rampage Jackson here in Long Beach, and Jason Mayhem with Throwback was there, right? Like all that old cast of crew, right? And they look like professional fighters.
Is there some activity going on here?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, here we go. Looks like Yoel Romero is about to step on the scale. They are. So, since he is early, I would anticipate that this is a good sign for him to make weight. All right, we are waiting for Romero to come out. And yes, I see your comment, Cole. You will get flamed in just a moment. Yoel Romero will be the last person to weigh in. Obviously, the most intrigue around his weigh-in because he has had issues on the scale before in such a high-profile fight. Man, dangerously close to the title on multiple occasions. We have some excitement ahead of us. Very curious to see what he looks like on the scale as well.
Taking bets now? Does he make weight? No.
I think he is because otherwise he would be 45 minutes until then. Unless maybe
he gets extra time regardless, right?
Well, if you attempt, so maybe, so that's gonna be the reason why I think Yoel is gonna be on weight. But I guess what looked like him stepping on the scale soon is not.
Wyland saying Yoel ran away, found out he had 31 minutes. I love that.
That's funny. All right, so while it looks like we are waiting for Yoel to step to the scale, I'm going to address Cole Shelton with his trash comment. He says, I'm a whooping 6% better than Ant, and in fifth, while Ant is not even top 10, hashtag trash.
All facts.
Like he hit the hashtag trash.
He pulled a Nicki Minaj on you, man.
Dude,
he pulled up the statistics on you.
No, he pulled the ether on me. I have no comeback. All I can hit him with the super ugly, but it's just gonna make me look bad in the long run.
Throw a dead ass beat. Throw a dead ass. Cole, dead ass. Dead ass.
Dead ass.
That just means whatever it means.
Dead ass B.
Those terms.
You gotta say B at the end of it. Dead ass B.
Dead ass B.
You know what? What happened? You know, RP Prodigy, man. What happened to done language? Yeah, dead ass done.
There's so many great terms that just don't get used like they should.
Yeah, man.
We need to bring dead ass back.
Dead ass needs to come back.
Let me start a campaign. Hashtag dead ass.
Oh wow. They probably shouldn't have handed us a mic.
You know how like we thought, oh yeah, me and you, and we're gonna take over Sherdog YouTube. They're watching this live stream. Nope.
You guys are getting shut all the way the hell down.
Or at least just don't give us 2 hours of nothing to do with the mic and coffee.
Yeah, give us an outline. Yeah, we're good to go. And set topics. Waiting for Yoel to take the scale is not exactly a good way to get us to stay on topic. So here we go. Seriously, Yoel did run away. Let's see. Kevin Bonner saying, "What up, Dunn?" Oh, that's what's up. Okay, what else we got? Tony T asking, you think a lot of people are doubting Nate Diaz since he had a long layoff?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And understandable. You gone for 3 years. Like if you think about anything that you've ever been good at, if you stop, let's see what he looks like. He doesn't look. He looks fairly healthy now. Face is a little drawn out, but. 184.5 for Yoel Romero. He is 0.5 pounds under what he was supposed to come in. So, Yeah. So I guess any concerns about Yoel's weight have been put to bed. Wow. So all the fighters have stepped on the scale. Everyone has made weight. I'm liking that this is sort of becoming a regular thing. I mean, besides the Bermudez fight with the catch weight now at 140, everything else right on point for the weight. So that's a beautiful thing, man. So Yoel Romero, Costa's official now. Yoel looked pretty good coming off the scale, man. He certainly looked a lot better than he did at the media day yesterday.
I'd say it looked the same.
You think so?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, his voice sounded real raspy.
Yeah, but we didn't hear him here.
Well, we did. I heard him coming in. He said something coming in. So, yeah.
I doubt that he's better now than he was yesterday. I seriously doubt that. I think that it was a tough weight cut, obviously, but he made weight.
Yeah,
he's good now. He's going to rehydrate, and we know that he's going to look normal tomorrow.
Yeah, so
look fine.
There it is. So we've got a healthy dosing of violence for you tomorrow night from the Honda Center.
We're also going to do a
preview show.
A preview show. We're going to tape it right after this.
Right after the ceremony.
Right after the ceremonial one.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah. So
and
what
also
else?
a HD highlight of all these official weigh-ins will be put out by me on Sherdog, obviously, within probably, I don't know, a couple hours or so.
Yeah, so everybody tune in to Sherdog.com. Make sure you stay up with the updates. Myself and Matt Hunter doing the best we can to give you some good coverage. And, yeah, so I appreciate everyone who jumped in on the chat, asking us questions, keeping the conversation going while we were waiting for Yoel Romero to do the damn thing.
Thank you guys for the great questions.
And we still got, 40 minutes to spare. So definitely like, subscribe, share it, do all that good stuff. Sherdog.com's YouTube channel will be filled with all sorts of beautiful content in the very near future. We are in the works of creating a much better experience for everyone who is stuck with the to revamp this thing that kept MMA going for such a long time.
Yep.
All right, so he is Matt Hunter. I'm Ant Walker. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Hunter MCR. You can follow me on Twitter at Ant Walker MMA. Love you. Appreciate you. You know what you got to do. Stay beautiful. Stay positive. And most of all, you've got to stay sexy. I will see you when I see you. Peace.
Peace.